As usual, the Navy midshipmen opened a new season in grand style, resuming a series on hold for 40 years against an ACC foe fewer than 40 miles away. With the Mids to oppose Maryland for the first time since 1965, nearly 68,000 converged on downtown Baltimore for a local football classic. But as always, when Navy's involved, the nation took note. Playing one of 3 games in 05 in NFL venues, the Mids were also making their first appearance on CSTV, part of a multi-year deal with the country's original 24-hour college sports network. Despite taking the field without 16 starters from a 10-win 2004, Navy treated the audience to the promising signs of profitable times to come, starting with the season's very first series under senior quarterback Lamar Owens, who kept an 80-yard drive alive with a pair of third-down completions. 10 minutes in, the Mids took their first lead of the new year.
McCoy to the right. Owens turns away from center, hands it to Hall, up the middle, in for the touchdown!
Soon after the score by fullback Matt Hall, Navy was poised to expand its advantage. Set up by linebacker Jake Biles' interception, the first of the senior's collegiate career. Right from the outset, it was obvious. The Mids' triple option offense was in good hands, and sparked by the strong legs of Owens, rushed for 122 yards.
Lamar Owens to the 5 with the pitch for Marco Nelson, and dive into the end zone! Touchdown!
While the defense constantly turned the Terrapins away, often taking its cue from a talented linebacking quartet, including junior Rob Caldwell, whose 13 stops led the Mids against the Terps, just as he would throughout the fall. All night long, the midshipmen seemed to have the makings of yet another special Navy team, but far more exciting than the first Saturday in September were the weeks and months ahead, all the way to San Diego. When the Mids made their Annapolis debut, again theirs was an opponent Navy hadn't faced for 4 decades, and once more, engaging a foe from a BCS conference, the Stanford Cardinal, the setting was as good as it gets. Experiencing the unique spectacle of a home Saturday for the Mids, a capacity crowd helped make history while witnessing history in the making. The 4th largest turnout ever at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium was bound to be part of a season attendance record. All the while, watching senior Marco Nelson achieve the unprecedented, as the Mids and Cardinal combined for 79 points and nearly 900 yards. The senior Nelson scored by several means. The first on a punt, helping Navy go from trailing to tied at 7. Recovering a turnover created by Reggie Campbell, Nelson pulled away into NCAA annals as the first player to score by way of a fumble return, a rush, and a reception. His next touchdown resulted from a pitch. Nelson's 54-yard catch and run was part of a late rally that would leave the Mids short by the narrowest of margins. Still, what was mostly a very youthful work in progress continued to offer plenty of promise, from freshman receiver Tyree Barnes and classmate Carlos Whitaker. With such potential clearly in place, it was now time to put the pieces together. Mids didn't appear on the road until October, after sitting idle the previous 2 Saturdays. The former due to the schedule, the latter to Mother Nature and a postponement at Rice. While the offense had to shake off any rust from a 3-week layoff, Navy's defense shook down Duke, often wreaking havoc in the Blue Devil backfield, with 3 sacks among 7 tackles behind the line. Eventually, a pair of plebes ignited the offense, when Carlos Whitaker set up the Mids' first scoring series, which Tyree Barnes ended as the opening quarter came to a close.
Space 2nd and 8 from the Blue Devil 33. Owens on the play fake. Lamar with a deep drop. He's got a wide open man, Tyree Barnes, who pulls it in at the 5 with a touchdown pass. Owens to Barnes. Navy's on the board.
Twice more, the Mids derailed Duke drives into Navy territory, preserving a first-half tie. Late in the 3rd quarter, the midshipmen gained the lead, mainly on long runs by Reggie Campbell and Matt Hall.
3rd return of a punt. The inside handoff and rumbling forward, Matt Hall to the 30. Hall outside to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, and
Navy needed another big burst to rebut a Blue Devil rally in the final 3 minutes. Lamar Owens' 52-yard gain put his team and himself in position to punch it in. Given the lead on their final offensive snap, the Mids' last stand, culminating with a play by David Mahoney, ensured their first win of the season. The following week, they'd enjoy their most important win of the season. Even if the weather wouldn't fully cooperate, nothing could dampen or detract from the day the Mids rededicated Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. As the midshipmen marched into their hallowed football home, they carried the banner of two-time defending Commander-in-Chief's champions, entering with 5 straight victories over Academy rivals, and intent on raising the colors of the Navy and the Corps over those of Air Force for a 3rd straight year. The intensity was evident from the outset, especially as the Mids kept the Falcons out of the end zone early. Later, while Air Force threatened on the move to midfield, Navy turned up the pressure and produced a game-turning pick.
Back left ball to the right, Williams the fullback, short drop for Carney, throwing the fade to the far corner of the end zone, up for grabs, and an interception for Keenan Little. Navy comes up with the pick.
Keenan Little's acrobatics gave the Mids momentum. Starting with a sweep, Navy ran with it.
Slot back left. Whitaker in motion right to left. Takes the toss. Carlos to the outside. Carlos to the end zone. Touchdown, Navy!
On their next series, beginning the second half, the Mids shifted from the ground to the air.
With Whitaker in motion right to left. Inside fake and fat play action. Deep drop for Owens. Throw it to the near side. Tomlinson open with a catch. Pulls it into the 35. Peeling away to the 15-10. To the 5. And end zone bound. A touchdown, Navy!
Still, Air Force answered Lamar Owens' 61-yard strike to Jason Tomlinson, taking a 10-point lead, only to be taken down in one of the most remarkable finishes in series history. Consecutive carries by Matt Hall and Marco Nelson accounted for 35 yards late in the 3rd quarter, before Owens and Tomlinson again connected for another 37. Joey Bullen then kicked his team to within 7. Setting the stage for the Mids' 4th quarter comeback. A rally inspired by the likes of Tyler Tidwell on defense, the putting of Eric Shuey, hustle of Reggie Campbell.
A high spiral and a hanging kick. Sutton retreats inside the 25. He is hit immediately, and Reggie Campbell brings him down.
And the emotion of David Mahoney, whose 2nd sack of the game, gave the offense a chance to tie. An opportunity seized after Owens' 4th down conversion left Navy 69 yards from the end zone inside the 3-minute mark. When Bullen followed Campbell's 40-yard dash, the Mids were even at 24.
Back right at the 5. Touchdown, Navy!
On the 3rd play of the ensuing possession, Navy snuffed out a screen.
To the right, 2 receivers to the left, and now Smith, the halfback, in motion to the left. They set up the screen, and the mishandle is a pass play intended for Brown. Navy thinking lateral and a loose ball.
And as the elements continued to conspire with the emotion of the moment, forced a poor punt to the Falcon 35. Then, with the final half minute interrupted by a final timeout, an Owens run preceded a scramble by the kicking team and a wild stampede.
Twisted down, and the Mids will send the field goal unit scrambling out of the field. Hampton knee down, extending the right hand. Bullen pacing off his steps. 5 seconds and 4. Snap by Williams. Spot by Hampton. Kick on its way. Headed toward the uprights. The kick is good. Wow. Navy has taken lead. 27-24. Wow. Now they got to get the Mids off the field. The clock still shows 4/10 of a second remaining as the brigade of midshipmen are spilling onto the field.
Eventually, the field was cleared after Bullen's 46-yard field goal sailed through the uprights with less than a half second on the clock. For the 2nd straight season, Navy charged downfield to stop an Air Force return to celebrate a game-winning kick.
Hollis lost the ball. Williams unable to hold on. The Falcons still playing pinball and rugby with it, and the Falcons eventually stall it out at the 40. And now the Mids football team and the fellow members of the Brigade of Midshipmen can celebrate. They spill onto the field.
How about our kicker?
Back at home to host Kent State, as Navy sought its third straight victory, team captains Lamar Owens and Jeremy Chase united to ensure the Mids would not skip a beat. With Chase recording a pair of sacks, others like classmate Jason Mons constantly applied pressure on the Golden Flashes. Meanwhile, Navy's offensive line offered plenty of protection. Tomlinson, who finished with 5 receptions, covered 47 yards on his longest grab. But it was a 4-yard run by fullback Adam Ballard that moved the Mids in front. Adding to the advantage, they soon capitalized on one of 3 turnovers forced.
25, shotgun snap, they roll the pocket right, Matchin pulls up, lofts it downfield, double coverage there for the Mids, contact downfield, and a leaping interception by Greg Sutter at the 25 of the Mids.
After Greg Sutter had a sensational interception, Brian Hampton managed a 75-yard march, scoring on its 16th play. But as the contest tightened, again the secondary produced a critical change of possession.
Shotgun snap to Matchin, dances to his right, throws across the middle, ball is tipped high in the air, and the deflection this time is picked off. Pressure has it for the Mids. Greg running across the 30 near side, 35, outside the 40-yard line.
Taking advantage of Greg Thrasher's first career pick, the Mids worked their way downfield. Owens hooked up with Tomlinson. Then he found Tyree Barnes for 22. Carlos Whitaker took it from there. Yet Navy was unable to distance itself until scoring 10 points in a late 3-minute span. First, Owens ran 41 yards, diving to the 3, before plunging into the end zone. On the ensuing kick, Eric Kitani recovered a fumble before a swing of Joey Bullen's right leg helped secure the victory. A month after their originally scheduled encounter, the Mids rolled over the Rice Owls by a 41-9 final. They struck first with their second series, as Lamar Owens took the first snap and ran 26 yards. At fullback, Matt Hall carried for the next 31. En route to a 300-yard performance for the Mids, one of 7 overall in 2005. Navy scored on 4 consecutive drives, all originating from near midfield thanks to a defense that harassed the Owls quarterbacks well into the Houston night. The Mids had 6 sacks, 2 of them by Tyler Tidwell, total 12 tackles for negative yardage. The Owls held to 36 yards in their final 6 series. Navy ensured the outcome on a Trey Hines touchdown run, long before Matt Harmon added their final point of the evening. The final weekend of October marked a matchup of bowl-bound opponents as Navy traveled to Rutgers. Though the Mids couldn't overcome an early deficit to extend a 4-game winning streak, theirs was still a performance featuring flashes of brilliance. There was also the sustained effort of Andrew Tattersall, who penetrated the Scarlet Knight backfield for 3 sacks. A return to Annapolis revealed an Academy trademark of excellence on and off the field, welcoming Tulane for its 8th game in an 8 different stadium. As a team cast adrift by Hurricane Katrina, Navy gave its guests more than simply a goodwill gesture, gaining national recognition by assuming the entire cost of the Green Waves visit. Once the game began, the Mids took control immediately and assertively, producing the first 7 scores en route to nearly 450 yards. In a 49-21 triumph, Navy kept the ball on the ground for all but 3 of its 74 plays. In fact, 3 of those runs resulted in touchdowns by Lamar Owens. Among the others was a 38-yard TD by Marco Nelson.
Moves in motion from the right. The inside fake, a pitch to Nelson out on the edge right side to the 35 of Tulane. Well, they get at the 30, streaking down the far side of the 10. Nelson slips a run out of the tackle into the end zone. Touchdown for Navy.
Matt Hall rushed into the end zone to account for 2 of his 100-plus yards. And Reggie Campbell ran it in from 11 for the other offensive score. As for the first defensive score, came compliments of freshman Keetrick Buffett.
Mark of the Tulane 33 takes the snap, looks left, throws it left, and the pass is tipped and intercepted. Keetrick Buffett on the return for the Mets inside the 30, running out of a hit down the far sideline, 10 to the 5, barreling over the quarterback into the end zone.
In all, the Mids picked off 3 passes to go with 2 sacks. and on a 70-degree day in early November, recorded their 13th victory in the last 15 home games. It was a similarly unseasonable afternoon in one of college football's most colorful settings, as Navy and Notre Dame renewed the nation's longest intersectional series. In 3 of the 4 quarters, the Mids proved themselves the equal of an Irish team bound for the Fiesta Bowl. With its opening possession, Navy engineered what was the longest drive to date allowed by the ND defense. Twice converting on 4th down, the Mids consumed nearly 8 minutes, covering 68 yards on 16 plays. Whether the 80,000+ in-house or part of the network TV audience at home, fans witnessed the determination that defines the Academy way of life. Through the physical and undaunted play on defense, the concentration and athleticism in the triple option offense, and the will to keep driving the pile on special teams. As the 7th-ranked team in the country, Notre Dame would stay unbeaten the rest of the regular season, and so too would the Midshipmen. On the 19th of November, the Mids' 18 seniors were joined by family members, as well as their football brothers, for their final game at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. 4 years earlier, they had vowed to restore a proud program and return Navy to national prominence. And on this day, as they entertained Temple, they set out to lead the Mids where no Navy team had gone before, into the postseason for a 3rd consecutive year. But to attain bowl eligibility, they'd have to withstand an inspired effort by the Owls, whose threat for an early lead was thwarted by Keetrick Buffett. Still scoreless, Navy sustained a drive when punter Eric Shuey took the snap and took off en route to a 1st down, before Marco Nelson took off on the run and into the air.
Rushes for 82 yards, inside fake, option pitch right to Marco Nelson, an open lane to the 15-10. Nelson inside the 5, a dive, it's pylon!
After Temple tied it, the Mids answered with a 12-play drive and regained the advantage with one of 2 Lamar Owens touchdowns. But when the Owls scored 10 unanswered points, including a field goal to end the half, the Mids emerged with perhaps their most complete 30 minutes of the season. In fact, they were about to generate not only the next 24, but the last 24 points of the afternoon. Owens' pass to Nelson put kicker Joey Bullen in position to even things, before his counterpart, Temple's Ryan Lux, had a field goal denied by Navy's Andrew Tattersall. His block preserved a tie. The Mids would break it shortly after starting the 4th quarter with a 33-yard screen to Adam Ballard. Owens' remarkable run established the tone for the final 14 minutes.
Side check, Lamar to the 5, Owens with a dive, bouncing off a hit, barely over a man for a Navy touchdown!
As the Navy defense continued its punishing performance, the offense approached the 500-yard plateau. Fullback Adam Ballard gained 167, including this late touchdown. 3 plays later, for the 2nd straight home game, the Mids' final TD resulted from a TO. As John Chan and the Mids celebrated his scoop and score, Navy had the coveted 6th win to guarantee a 12th game. But the next win would mean something far more powerful.
My name is Matt Williams. I'm from Franklin, Tennessee. Ever since you're a plebe, I mean, you're on Beat Army. The weights inside the weight room have Beat Army stamped on them. We're extremely proud to be able to, say that we've beaten Army 3 times in a row. But I mean, honestly, this would probably be the capstone that goes on top of it.
I'm Jake Biles, Lorena, Texas. We get emails from alumni, from friends who've played, and it's amazing the amount of pride that they take in the team still today. And so that means a lot to us.
Jeremy Chase from Norfolk, Virginia. I just really got a bunch of letters and emails just from old players and just other graduates from Academy just telling us to go out there and just do them proud on Saturday. And, hopefully we go out there, give it our all, and, if we play our game, I'm sure everything's going to turn out best.
Marshall Green from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and this game means a lot to each and every one of us. It means a lot to me because we're playing for so much. It's more than any other football game we ever play. Got a lot of history behind it, and also we play for everyone that's overseas. It's a chance for them, hopefully, to get away from what they're doing for an hour or a couple hours and watch a game and kind of forget about it and still root for the Navy, but in a different kind of way.
With their words, the class of '06 had measured the magnitude of a rivalry like no other. With their actions, these mids had dominated their counterparts like few others in Army-Navy history, winning each of the last 3 years by more than 100 points. But as the Black Knights entered this December in Philadelphia on a 4-game winning streak, at stake, for the first time in 8 years, was the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. With a late first quarter field goal, the Cadets had their first lead over the Mids since 2001. It didn't last long. Within the next 90 seconds of game time, Lamar Owens would earn a first down. And assist on a touchdown.
Campbell moves in motion right to left. Owens in that direction. Lamar gave up the pitch late, and Campbell down the left side 40, 35-30. Reggie is on his way to the lead. Past the 10 and the 5, and into the end zone.
Following Reggie Campbell's 54-yard run, Army again gained the advantage, once more only to relinquish it on Navy's next possession when Owens delivered the game's signature play. Just as their quarterback broke free of the Black Knights, the Mids pulled away. As Navy's defense tightened its grip, an 11-point lead was enlarged to 18 after Adam Ballard bowled his way to 64 of the Mids' next 75 yards. If there was any residue of doubt, Navy removed it, forcing Army into another 3-and-out and devouring the next 5.5 minutes until Owens' final carry of the contest. The senior quarterback was voted MVP, combining with the sophomore Ballard to rush for nearly 300 yards, 67 on the first play of the fourth quarter. In the end, the Mids amassed more than 500 yards, entrusting the lead with an opportunistic defense. And as young quarterbacks Joe Taylor and Troy Goss handled the final snaps in the waning seconds, Navy had a fourth straight victory over Army for the first time since the mid-'70s. This by a 42-23 final, enriching the legacy of the 18 seniors who leave Annapolis unbeaten by their arch rivals. Their mid-December getaway to San Diego, the Mids continued what's become a most welcomed holiday tradition. Invited to a bowl game for the third straight year, they were accompanied by college football's most loyal supporters, strengthening Navy's well-deserved reputation as one of the nation's most popular programs. And when the Mids weren't preparing to confront Colorado State in the inaugural Poinsettia Bowl, they were absorbing the adulation accorded throughout their stay in this Navy and Marine Corps town. On the eve of kickoff, hundreds boarded the USS Peleliu for a blue and gold pep rally. And outside Qualcomm Stadium on game day, thousands formed what was thought to be the world's largest tailgate. Amidst such fanfare, the Mids bolted into the home of the NFL Chargers, poised to play their way into history. Leading them into the record books was a 5'6" sophomore Reggie Campbell, who responded to the Rams' game-opening score with a kick return near midfield. And then, on Navy's very first play, continued downfield.
45, play action fake by Owens, lofting it downfield, Campbell wide open at the 30, Reggie to the 15-10, angling right past the 5,
exploiting the state secondary, the Mids soon relied on their own defense to tilt the game in their favor for good. With the Rams poised to extend a three-point edge, Captain Jeremy Chase stayed in pursuit on a fourth down play, allowing the Mids to forge ahead and never turn back. For the rest of the first half, Navy kept Colorado State from answering in any way. Bruising on both sides of the ball, the Mids beat the Rams inside and out. By halftime, Campbell clearly emerged as the offensive star, while junior Tyler Tidwell stood out on defense. It would stay that way, though surrounded by a strong supporting cast. When Colorado State followed Campbell's fourth score with 14 points of its own, Mids reversed momentum with an end around to Jason Tomlinson.
From the left slot, Owens with the pitch to Jason Tomlinson, an end around to the left, 35-40, 45-50. Tomlinson is tackled and Colorado State's array.
And the brute strength of Adam Ballard to set up the speed of Campbell. Once more, open off-play action.
Nelson, the slot receiver right. Owens on a deep drop. Lamar looking down the middle of the field. Campbell is wide open. Makes the catch at the 5. Reggie Campbell.
A fifth TD for Campbell cast him in such elite company as Barry Sanders, among the NCAA record holders for most touchdowns in a bowl game. In his roles as runner, receiver, and returner, Campbell totaled nearly 300 all-purpose yards, part of an offense that established Academy Bowl records for points, first downs, and rushing yards, gaining 467 in a 51-30 rout. Overall, the Mids exceeded 600 yards, as Ballard gained 129, his extra effort amounting to an average of 8.5 yards per carry. Senior Marco Nelson, the other half of Navy's dynamic duo in the slot, picked up 80 on just 7 rushes, 2 of them for scores. Even much younger teammates, like A-back Shun White, quarterback Jared Bryant, shined in the postseason spotlight, as did Tidwell, who earned defensive MVP honors, and fellow linebackers Rob Caldwell, who had a team-high 14 tackles, and David Mahoney, who turned State aside on a late 2-point try. Junior defensive back Jeremy McGowan, back from a broken arm, was in on a dozen stops. While senior James Polanco, who'd once overcome a broken leg, made his mark by evening's end. By any measure, the Mids showing in San Diego proved a stunning success, just as it was 27 years earlier when Navy christened another first-time bowl on this very site. 5 months and 8 wins after they'd embarked on August camp, the 2005 Midshipmen enjoyed another fantastic finish, as the nation's pollsters would know, ranking Navy among the top 30 for the second straight season. With 26 victories in a 3-year span, Mids proved they not only could rebuild, they could reload, to remain in national prominence under the direction of a staff led by Paul Johnson, whose 7-1 start to the Commander-in-Chief Series is the best in school history. With an offense of Johnson's own design, Navy led the nation in rushing for the second time in 3 years, ranked in the top 20 in both scoring and total offense, thanks to a school record average of 6.5 yards per play. They were among the most solid on the national scene in other ways too, such as special teams, covering Eric Shuey's punts while allowing opponents to barely escape their tracks, hitting Division I's 6th lowest return average. On placements, the trio of Matt Williams, Brian Hampton, and Joey Bullen were in sync for the spectacular, as in Air Force, and what seemed routine, with a string of 47 extra points in a row. Before an injury ended his season, Carlos Whitaker posted the 4th best return average on record. Rarely was a big play for the blue and gold, whatever the phase, interrupted by the yellow flag, as the Mids remained among the least penalized teams in college football. With such discipline combined with the Navy trademark of teamwork, came both collective success and individual acclaim. Joining Bullen as All-East honorees were quarterback Lamar Owens, who enjoyed 300-yard rushing performances while setting a school record by averaging roughly 21 yards per pass completion, and Rob Caldwell, who became the first linebacker to lead Navy in tackles since 1996. Ranked 10th nationally, his average bolstered by 21 stops against Air Force. Recognizing the mid's remarkable play in the Poinsettia Bowl, various All-Star squads featured both Reggie Campbell and the linemen who helped to pave his way, including sophomore guard Antron Harper, junior tackle Matt Pritchett, and junior setter James Rossi. Meanwhile, tackle Marshall Green earned a place on the Academic All-District team as individual evidence of Navy's overall excellence in the classroom. Epitomizing the spirit of the midshipmen was linebacker Anthony Piccioni, a special team standout, voted most inspirational by teammates at the Poinsettia Bowl. As memorable as those mids made 2005, they also offered ample reason for excitement about Navy's football future. Juniors Tyler Tidwell, the team leader with 10 sacks, and David Mahoney, who added 8 of his own, totaled 35 tackles for loss as outside backers, while classmates Keenan Little, Jeremy McGowan, and DeJuan Price patrolled the secondary, and fellow junior John Chan, as well as sophomore Larry Silk, anchored the Navy interior. Behind an offensive line comprised largely of underclassmen, junior fullback Matt Hall and sophomore Adam Ballard rushed to the century mark 4 times, with Ballard setting a school record for most yards in his first 3 collegiate starts. Slotback Carlos Whitaker became just the second Navy freshman to gain 100 yards on the ground when he did so versus Stanford, starting a string of 6 straight games with at least 1 touchdown. As the mid's leading receiver, junior Jason Tomlinson got more than 100 yards worth in back-to-back wins over Air Force and Kent State, establishing the blueprint at the position for plebe Tyree Barnes, whose second career score was in South Bend, off a throw by junior quarterback Brian Hampton. Each added to sustain Navy's success in 2005 and lift a special senior class to a level rarely attained in Academy annals. Wherever the years ahead lead these 06 grads, from Jake Biles to Mickey Okaitis, the road they've traveled through the last 4 seasons was paved with unprecedented achievement. 26 wins in the last 37 games, 3 straight bowl berths as Commander-in-Chief champions, a career sweep of their rivals from West Point, and a legacy to last a lifetime.